the DNA channel. We're on our way out to visit the Rainbow Family Gathering. It's July 1st, 2022. This is their 50th anniversary, and they've chosen to gather in the Routt National Forest in northwest Colorado in a place called California Park, and more specifically Adams Park. It is home to one of the largest elk herds in the United States, I believe. This is their calving season, and it's also rearing season for sandhill cranes and things, and a lot of different wild animals that normally live a pretty peaceful life out here. There's a little bit of action already. There's been a lot of traffic, and we have seen that the National Forest law enforcement officers have had a car pulled over and was searching the vehicle. Of course, we stopped before they needed to stop us and said hello and told them that we appreciate their work and that they're protecting our national wildlife lands and national park lands, and talked to one of our local sheriff, which was good. I'm glad to see that our local law enforcement has presence out here at this time.
$43,000 miles, 27 states in 14 months. So wow. There's 54 different people's ashes. Colton Forever 16 is the 54th person that came and asked for them. All the light sparkles all the way around the buses are ashes. Up front, officers have been giving us hero coins, handcuffs, patches coast to coast, and people have been driving 600-700 miles to see the wall, touch it, bring a sentiment of a loved one gone. All of our social media is Suicide Awareness Bus. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok is my name. I do Power of Positivity talks. And then this is our personal phone number. The same with the Venmo and Cash App is all Suicide Awareness Bus.
This crossing's definitely been improved. It's a lot better than it was. It's nice for those of us to use these trails year round. So we came around the corner and you hear drumming and whatnot, and you can see teepees out in the distance and tents all over. It's people doing some stuff, and looks like they're having some cool event. So we've come up to the top of the Rainbow Family Gathering. So far it's been really kind and everybody's been nice. Different for sure. All kinds of different people. A lot of diversity. There's a lot of people. You don't really see everything because they're scattered up into the trees and out into the wilderness. You can see all around there are just camps everywhere, and there are areas for information. There was an area for trade and first aid and number of different kitchens and places to get water and wash your hands. So it's been a really nice experience, actually. Welcoming for sure. Everyone here has been really kind, so I'm very accepting, so all is good. It's pretty cool. Eating circle. It's important to note that much of this footage does not accurately depict the vast number of people occupying the area, nor does it show all the kitchens, camps, groups, clans, markets, or service places. This because the Rainbow Family specifically asks that you do not take pictures or video of individuals without their express permission. So I need to take this opportunity to better describe our observations and experience. Along the tree line and deep up into the woods surrounding this entire park and meadow are vast occupied areas and numerous camps. Along the tree line is crowded wall to wall from between 50 to 100 foot back into the woods with people and tent sites. Different groups with a wide range of different purposes are clumped together and scattered throughout. There are a multitude of different sized kitchens, from large to small, that produce a variety of foods and drink without charge. There are a variety of services such as medical camps, information centers, libraries, educational camps that give tours into the forest and teach things like plant identification and foraging. There are groups that facilitate yoga sessions, provide entertainment, and offer teas and other treats. There is a vast market where bartering and trading takes place between people without exchange of currency. There are a variety of different camps that have different interests, like Jesus Camp, Crazy Camp, Green Camp, Glitter Camp for the LGBTQ plus community. There's Clean Kid and Dirty Kid camps, where families that have children have grouped together to keep the children safe and away from all the chaos.
There are wash stations, watering spots, and many group latrines where deep holes are dug into the ground. There is a main supply handy camp where elders and the coordinators take in supplies and distribute them to the many kitchens. There's a van camp, and most of the huge parking areas serve as camps and hangouts where the wilder groups that don't want to walk in or don't have tents loiter and party day and night. These areas feel a bit sketchy, but for the most part, we were left alone in those areas. From the trailhead throughout the more than 2.5 mile stretch where most of the event is taking place, it's considered an alcohol-free zone, or at least alcohol is discouraged. That's not to say that there isn't a huge amount of a variety of drugs being consumed. Drug use was widespread and open. Marijuana, which is legal in Colorado, was abundant. There was a variety of the more common traditional drugs, like magic mushrooms and other organic substances being used, traded, and distributed. On the darker side, the use of much heavier drugs like methamphetamines, heroin, and fentanyl was prevalent, as witnessed by the significant busts performed by the federal law enforcement in the park. There was something I wasn't familiar with being smoked, and it filled the air. It was different than smoke from meth or heroin. It was pungent and bitter like burnt plastic and electrical. It was citrusy, heavily chemical, and it clung to our clothes. It made us both a little nauseous and gave us a headache. So much so that on the way home, we kept our windows rolled down and we stripped our clothes and left them outside overnight before washing. We both had to shower to get the odor out of our hair and off the skin. The darker feel and more uncomfortable vibe was most noticeable on July 3rd, the evening before the main event. The experience that day was off-putting enough that we decided we'd had enough for a while, and we chose not to be there for the finale on the 4th. In fact, it took a few days for us to want to go back up. To me, it was gnarly and chaotic. At that point, I was convinced that Adams Park would be irreversibly altered and would never feel the same. We had experienced a roller coaster ride of emotions, from complete objection to acceptance, sympathy to outrage, from disgust to surprisingly pleased. One thing is for sure, the Rainbow Gathering was a unique experience that one would have to see and feel to even partially understand.
One notable observation that I've had here, as you can see down in the bottom of this, there is Adams Creek, and I think that was an area of concern for the National Forest. I think one of the big concerns was contamination. But one of the things that we have witnessed while we've been here, and early on, we were here much earlier in the week as they were just coming in. One of the things that we noticed was that the wetlands have all been flagged off and cordoned off. There are lots of signs and notices that say, please stay out of the water, stay off of the wetlands. At the springs and areas like that where there is moisture, they do ask that you stay away from those areas. So there are people that are taking special precautions to try to minimize the impact and minimize the pollution. We've taken the opportunity to tour a good portion of the Rainbow Family Gathering. As you can see behind me, this is just a parking area, one of a number of parking areas. You can see all around, these are people that have come here. There are a lot of obviously new roads that have been traveled up here, and I'm assuming that the ground will come back. I'm assuming that the vegetation will return in time. That's really not the biggest issue. I think the human waste is probably the biggest issue. We've met a lot of interesting people. We've seen a lot of interesting things. People from all walks of life and all intentions. Some good and some bad. But nothing real extreme. No one was violent. Everyone was accepting to us. In the meeting circle earlier for dinner, a great mass of people came together. Not everyone attended, but a good number of the Rainbow family gathered in the center. They communed for a while, everyone spoke, and eventually they came together, they joined hands, they gave alms for a time. Everyone cheered, a lot of announcements, and then they served food to the community. We walked the market area where everyone was bartering and trading. I didn't see any cash change hands, but there were a number of crafts and necessities that people were trading. Many people have welcomed us with blessings and we love you, we're loving you. Be well, welcome home. So it's in all, it's been an interesting experience. Not being familiar with the lifestyle and a lot of this, it's a lot to take in, of course, but generally speaking, everyone was pretty kind. So I'm interested to see exactly what kind of impact is left behind once they leave. We did speak to a young lady who is part of the cleanup crew, and her special interest is helping revegetate and revitalize the land, so that's interesting. I'll be interested to see how that turns out and what that's all about and how effective it is. So generally speaking, we do have a vested interest in this area up here. This is where we camp. This is where we come to get away from town, so I'm interested to see. I'm hoping that the National Forest doesn't shut this off from us locals that attend this area a lot, that camp here. I'm hoping that everyone can just make the best of what is here and what is left of this, and move forward and do the best we can to let the land revegetate. But thank you for coming on our little adventure. It has been a pleasure. We have been coming out since the beginning on occasion when we had a chance and documenting the progression as the Rainbow family got ready for the influx and gathering, and we intend to continue documenting as they clear out, clean up, move on, and we hope to be able to continue to go into the area if we're allowed and document the regrowth and see how well the forest handles their impact. Here goes. So this part of the trail, this is the main trail heading into the event area, and it has always been a 2-track. It's been limited to ATVs and stuff that are 60 inches or narrower, so you can take motorcycles, bicycles, 4-wheelers, and small razors on here. So this area was kind of a big kitchen. I don't know, it wasn't close to the main feeding area, but I think this area fed a bit of the community right around here. You can see a pretty significant trail right there. Want to go up this trail? Let's check this out. I've not gone up a number of these just for the sake of not. There's some markings here. Yeah. This is a latrinish. Smells pretty gnarly. There's poop. Smells pretty bad. Lots of toilet paper. This is the kind of thing that bothers the locals for sure. So we're approaching the kind of main gathering area. Hangers on. In truth, and just to be fair, any one of these camp areas are probably left not that much more developed than I would develop a camp spot as well. We come back to them regularly and use them, and other people use them. And it encourages people not to spread out. If they find a decent camp spot, they have a tendency to camp there rather than go find another spot to develop, so to speak. So, generally speaking, you know, there's a lot of nice little camp spots that have been developed, and a lot of them are just going to go back to nature. Not all that bad, actually, in some places. So we figured while we're up here, instead of just complaining about things, thought we'd haul a little trash out and be part of the solution. Seems like a number of people are here and staying around just to clean things up and to renaturalize everything, so figured we'd haul a little trash out. We're on our way back from Adams Park, from the main area that the Rainbow family had their gathering. It's been 6 days now since the main event. Many of the event goers have left, but there's still a considerable population. There seems to be a contingent of people that their main function is cleanup. So they are doing a considerable amount of cleanup. There's massive trash piles and that they're trying to haul out of there. You know, they are making an attempt to clean things up. You can tell where there's been camps established. But generally speaking, they're doing their best to rewild the area. To what end, I'm not sure. We'll have to go up and check again later. And what the impact is truly going to be, it's just hard to say at this point. From my personal perspective, they've developed a couple of decent developed camp areas along the trail. And for those that want to recreate in the area and would like to tent camp and maybe take mountain bikes or UTVs off of the beaten path and find a place to throw a camp for a couple of days, horseback riding, in truth, some of these areas that they've established will be nice little camps. I will assure you that hunters will use them. Many of them will go back to nature for sure, but it's going to be a minute. So that's just the way it is. It's going to take a while for a couple of them to go back. Nonetheless, they are trying to clean it up and to make it look good again. There's still things to be seen, and only time will tell.